Hi, Coach. It's Mike Carmen with the Lafayette Journal and Courier. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Mike?
Fine. Just kind of give us a broad overview of what you've seen out of your defensive linemen and how are things coming together there with you got some experience with George and how's Lorenzo looking?
The group overall, tough, physical, guys that love football. It's what you expect coming back to the Big Ten. Guys like Lorenzo, we're glad to have him back and healthy, getting reps, getting back into the rhythm. It's been great.
Regardless if you're in a 3-4 or 4-3, who are some of the guys working at the opposite end of George right now?
Well, we've got all of our guys ready to go. We've got George, like you mentioned, Sullivan, Paka. We've got Jack Sullivan, got KJ Stokes, to name a few. We got Branson Dean, Anthony Watts. Really, all of our guys are rotating in and getting a lot of reps for us.
Is Branson still a guy that can play inside and outside, or do you want him at a specific position right now?
He's very, very skilled for the defensive line position. He's a guy that can do multiple jobs for us. I'm sure you guys have seen in the past, he's played in multiple roles, whether it be inside and outside, because he has those skill sets and the capability, also the capacity to do those jobs.
And what has impressed you about what Anthony Watts has done so far?
Again, he's one of those guys that's tough. He's an experienced player. He's played a lot of snaps here for us, and he brings a lot of experience to the table. So we're excited to have him.
How did you evaluate your group after the scrimmage on Saturday?
We definitely have some things we need to work on, but we got better. It was another opportunity to get out there and practice and rep our calls, and we approach every practice that way to try to get 0.001% better, and that's what we saw after the scrimmage.
You alluded to it a little bit, but how does it feel to be back in the Big Ten and just be around that environment?
It's awesome. I mean, it's nothing like it. It's been 8 years since I've been in the Big Ten, and it's a blessing. I'm glad to be back. My family and I, we're blessed to be back, and a great place like Purdue.
All right. That's it for me for now. Thank you.
Okay, Tom Dienhart, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Jamison, thanks for your time. Hey, real quick, have either of the two freshmen caught your eye, Austin or Hudgens?
Absolutely. Greg Hudgens and Bryce Austin both. Greg's a big guy. He's physical. He brings a lot to the table at the line of scrimmage. He sets the line of scrimmage. He resets the line of scrimmage, Bryce Austin, not only is he physical, but he's athletic as well. He has short area quickness. So that's very key up front, especially in the inside.
You think both will play this year?
Anybody can play this year in the COVID year. So we try to prepare everybody to be prepared and get in the mix.
Hey, overall, how many linemen do you feel comfortable playing this year? You about 9 or 10 deep, you think?
We've got 12 guys on the roster. We've got to get everybody ready. Ultimately in the game, we'd like to rep up to 7 guys.
Okay, I got you. Hey, real quick, the redshirt freshman Stephen Fichot, how's he coming along?
He's a big guy, and he's a guy that can cause some trouble in the inside, and really cause a nightmare for an opposing center, opposing guard, and sometimes a tackle.
Hey, what is Big George Karlaftis? How's he impressed you? You probably heard a lot about him before you got to campus. What stood out about watching and coaching that guy so far?
He loves football. He's a guy that always wants to come in and find out how to improve his game. And that's one of the things I expected coming back to the Big Ten. Guys that love football, it's all about ball, all about the trenches in the D-line room. He shows up to practice, always want to get better. And, he's working himself to improve every single snap he's out there.
Thank you, Coach Jamison.
Okay, the Exponent reporters. I don't know which one of you is going to be asking questions. I know there's 2 of you.
Hi, my name is Alex Sabri. And I just want to ask, considering you have that change from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense, what would you say has changed about some of the priorities that you have on the defensive line?
What do you mean change from a 4-3 to a 3-4?
So I guess a change from 4 down linemen to 3 down linemen. I guess what are some of the changes in priorities, maybe some of the changes in the starting nose tackles or starting defensive ends, and maybe if you're going to get more of some of the outside linebackers involved in pass rushing or run blocking opportunities.
I just want to make sure I'm getting your question right. Are you asking me if we're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4? What are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm
talking about my past.
Considering that you have that change from a 4-3 to a 3-4.
Say it again.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So you're saying that since he has from his past, from what he's played before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
So from what you've done before till now?
Okay, what I've done before. See, at Air Force we played both. At Texas Tech we played both. I'm not sure what you're asking me.
That's fair. We can move on.
I guess I'll move on. Yeah.
We can move on to the next question.
So, I guess, considering, again, some of the changes that you've had on the defensive line, do you feel like you've had a suitable enough time to prepare your players to fit into Bob Diaco's defense?
Yeah, with the time given, we are moving forward to be prepared to play game one. So we've had the proper amount of reps, and we'll continue to have the reps that's needed to prepare for game one.
Okay. I guess how involved has Bob Diaco been in the improvement of this defensive line?
Whatever we do, all the success we have is because of the leadership of Coach Bob Diaco at the defensive line position, at every position on the defense. We follow his lead. We work as a family, but he's the leader.
Okay. So do you feel like you've had some of the starters on your defensive line ironed out yet? Who do you think is going to start at the nose tackle? Do you think it's mostly going to be Lorenzo Neal, or do you think Anthony Watts or Lawrence Johnson are going to get a couple snaps?
That's a good question. We'll wait until October 24th to find that out. That's a great question, though.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, hang on 1 second. We'll have George Karlaftis on here in a second. Mic is on, camera's on. Okay, George is here. Mike Carmen, or Tom Diener, why don't you start us off this time?
Thanks for your time, George. Hey, just give us an idea of how your camp has progressed. Have you been pleased with your development so far through the first 10 or so days of camp?
Yeah, I think just as a group, we've made great strides, and with the leadership of Coach Jamison, Coach Diaco, and all of our coaches, I think we've made great strides, and I'm happy at where we are, but never satisfied in that too. We're looking to get better and get ready for Iowa on October 24th.
How have you gotten better, George? What skills have you improved?
Just really focusing on the stuff that I didn't think I did really well last year. Trying to learn the defense, honing in on technique and little things like watching film and getting stuff from film study. So just in general, improving.
How are you going to be used, George? Is it going to be much different than last year?
It'll be a similar type role. Not to give away too much, but it'll be a very similar role, and we're 50-50, 3 down, 4 down, and that's not very, very different from what we did last year also. So it won't be a drastic change from what I've been doing.
Who's been the defensive end playing opposite you most of the time?
We've been seeing multiple guys. you know, Branson's been there, Anthony's been there, a couple freshmen have been there, Solomon's been there, Jack Sullivan's been there. I mean, everyone, you know, they're trying to get everyone involved and really get ready to play. We don't know what's going to happen this year. So we're just getting everyone ready and ready to go regardless of who's 1 or 2 or 3.
How's Lorenzo Neal looking?
He's looking good. You know, as with everyone, everyone's improving every day, trying to get ready for Iowa. And, you know, he's putting his best foot forward and giving everything he's got for the team.
Any personal goals for you this year from a SAC standpoint or a TFL standpoint?
Not for the public, no. My only goal is to win the Big Ten championship.
Thank you, George.
Yep.
Okay, Exponent reporters.
Thank you.
Okay. So how do you feel that your role overall in this team has changed from year 1 to year 2, considering the growth that you've had? And do you see yourself as like a leader on the defensive line?
You know, I've never really been a vocal guy. I've always tried to more lead by example. So, you know, just showing the young guys how to do things right, you know, and not just with football, you know, just with school and living everyday life and trying to be successful in this system and in college and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I do think that I've emerged more as a leader, and I think I can improve a lot more. But yeah, I feel comfortable with how far I've came as a leader, and you know, just excited for the future.
Okay. So considering some of the changes between Nick Holt and Bob Diaco's system, where specifically do you feel the most comfortable on the line? Like maybe like a 3 or a 5 technique?
I feel comfortable wherever they put me, to be honest. I don't really have a preference. I could rush the edge. I could rush inside and play a 3 technique. I could stand up and rush. I could play in the 1 technique and kind of be a nose guard if need be, and really rush from anywhere. I don't have a preference, you know. Whatever Coach Diaco and Coach Jamison think that, you know, I need to do in order to be most successful and help the team out the most, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't really have a preference. I think I could be just as effective in any spot on the line.
And then, yeah, just one last question. Considering you're maybe one of the younger players on this defensive line, can you name maybe some of the other younger players on this defensive line that you think have really impressed you over this offseason?
You know, everyone's came to work, you know, and there's been highs and lows, and you know, just like any other camp. But you know, everyone's trying to put their best foot forward. You know, the freshmen have been great. You know, and they've had a lot come their ways with the coronavirus and with everything going on and learning a new playbook and all this kind of stuff. But also the guys that are, you know, in my class and the class above that would consider to be younger guys. I think, you know, we've all taken this challenge in a positive light, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
All right, thank you,
George. I got one, if that's okay. What would you say is the biggest difference in coaching style that you've seen with Diaco and Jamison versus what you guys had last year?
You know, it is a bit different. This coaching staff, they really embrace, you know, doing your 111th. You know, I think that's really important. Doing your 111th and really contributing as a player, regardless of where the coaches put you, being mentally tough and doing everything you can to help out the defense. I think that's ultimately been the main thing. And not that the previous coaching staff didn't. It's just that with Coach Diaco and what Coach Jamison bring to the table is they really emphasize culture and being all together and doing really your 111th in order to help the greater good of the team.
Thanks, George.
Okay, Carm.
Hey, George. How'd you stay sharp during the whole spring, summer, when the pandemic hit? And, you know, how were you able to kind of keep yourself in shape and in tune?
You know, it was tough. It was tough to do so. You know, obviously we have iPads that we take home, and I was able to really have a lot of time to watch film, to keep my mind sharp and you know, just still being engaged in football, even though I'm not practicing or anything like that. And then, I had a little setup, a little in-home gym that I was able to utilize to the best of its ability. And then, I'd be going outside with, my brother or family members or whoever, and they could help me out with my technique in any way possible. I would take anything I could get. So, just being creative and doing everything I can while staying safe. That's all I could do, until we got back.
As Coach Jamison brought some new techniques for you to try and work on, and will we see some different things from you this year?
Yeah, and the system and the scheme does bring that, and Coach Jamison does, but the system and the scheme forces us to play a little different types of techniques and all that kind of stuff, and that's not a negative. I think we'll be more fit to do this system just because of how we line up and the coaching we've gotten and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's been new techniques, and as all of us evolve, we get to be older, we get to be veterans. Some of us, all that kind of stuff. We keep learning more and more, keep getting advanced. From football 101 to football 102. So that's been exciting.
How important is it for the defensive line to create a little bit more pressure in the backfield, whether you're registering sacks or TFLs or whatever? But how much has that been an emphasis to really get this defense to a point where it's earning its success a little bit?
Yeah, and I've always thought that the defensive line is one of the, a great defense has to have a great defensive line. You don't really hear about great defenses without good defensive lines. So we hold everything up front. We stop the run and we earn the right to pass rush. Once we stop the run, then the team will be forced to throw the ball, and that's when we'll be able to get some pressure on the quarterback and be able to mess with the other team. We've been working that a lot during the off season, doing a lot of drills, focusing on it, dialing up different pressures. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, George, thank you very much. We'll have Lorenzo on here in just a second. Okay, well, go ahead and get started with Mike Carmen.
Hey, Lorenzo.
What's up?
You doing all right?
Straight.
Just kind of where you at in your recovery process, rehab, and how do you feel like your conditioning level is right now?
Yeah, I want to start this off saying rest in peace, George Floyd, rest in peace, Breonna Taylor, and any victims of police brutality. I feel good. I feel great and ready to play football.
It's been a long time since you played. How have you dealt with not being able to play and, some of the setbacks that you've suffered?
Yeah, just being mentally tough and just waiting on my opportunity to get back on the field. I don't really think about all that kind of stuff. I just know that when my time comes, I need to do what I need to do, and that's kind of been my mindset on it.
Do you feel like you could play today and play as much as you could? I don't know if you feel like you could play a full game today?
Do I feel like I could play a full game today? Well, we just finished practice, so I don't feel like I can play a full game right now. But a good night of sleep, some food, I could probably play a game.
Okay. I wouldn't ask you to play a full game today, but I see what you're saying. But just how you mentioned mentally, but just how did you deal with the mental part of just being out the last 2 years and some of the up and downs that comes with the rehab process?
Some of the ups and downs that come with the rehab process. I just keep my head on straight. I don't try to get too high or too low. And I know that this is a day-to-day process, and it has been for the last year and some change. So I try not to keep a level head and don't get too high or too low. Really, just stay focused on my goals.
The fact that you didn't play last year, how much did that factor into you wanting to come back this year and give it another shot?
I mean, I guess I figured I have eligibility left and I haven't played a whole season. So I needed to get back out here and play again with my guys. I mean, that was really just all it was. You know, I had never felt like at any point that I had just done enough to leave, or that I was just going to be out of here even, 2 years ago. So for me, that was never really a question that I had to ask myself. It was that I still had work that I need to get done here, still games I need to win.
How do you feel like? Do you feel like you're going to be in a pretty good position, nose tackle, defensive tackle, whatever it's going to be, to get some more pressure on the quarterback this year to help the defensive line kind of establish itself in that area?
Yeah, I feel like Coach Diaco is going to put us in position to be successful.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Exponent reporters.
Hi, Lorenzo.
So,
can you maybe go over some of the techniques used maybe in the off season or during last season that you used to help recover from your recent injury, I guess?
well, I do want to say I think that over these last 9-10 months since the pandemic has started, I think a lot of awareness has been made to social justice causes, and especially the treatment of minorities in our communities in America, especially. And I think that's really important for us to keep that narrative going because we have a lot of work to get done as a country. And I think it's really important that when my kids grow up, they get to live in a world where we're all treated equal, regardless of our skin color, where we come from. So that's always really important to me. As far as rehabbing, I did rehab, and I did what the doctors told me to do, and try to get back in the most timely manner I did. Just work hard, and like I said, keep my mentality straight so I don't get too high or too low.
All right, and last Saturday's press conference, Jeff Brom went over the fact that he felt very confident with the progress the team has made overall in things like tackling. What would you say that you or some of the other people on the defensive line have improved overall this offseason?
Well, I would say the biggest thing this offseason was that we really got as good of an understanding as I think we have now on the playbook. We were learning an all-new scheme, brand new football. So I think that we had to kind of learn how to adapt to the new playbook. And so that was, I think, a big change for everybody. As far as techniques, I don't really have any specifics to go into. I think a lot of it was just kind of changing little things. I don't think anybody was just, last year who played was just, in no way prepared. But I think there were things that when Coach Jamison and Coach Diaco got here, we realized we needed to fix, and that's been the process since then.
All right. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you.
Okay, Tom Dienhart, bring us home.
Hey, Lorenzo, was there ever a point last year when you really got frustrated and thought, this just isn't worth it?
Was there ever a point last year that I ever thought this isn't worth it? Absolutely not. I can't go into I won't go into detail about all the things I've been through in my life, but an injury would never make me quit the sport I love. That's just my personal view on it. So no, that was never a thought that crossed my mind. Took it day by day, just trying to get back out here as quick as I could. And when I was ready, I was ready.
How close did you come to playing last year? You get on the practice field, do you ever come close to actually suiting up in a game? Was there any point last year where you came this close to playing?
Never come close to playing. I think it was more of a wait and see kind of thing. I don't think any decision was ever really made, and there wasn't an effort to rush me back last year. I had a good understanding with Coach Brom and with the coach staff, with the medical staff about my health being the most important thing. So that was never really a question to rush me back. You know, there were some days where I went on the field and I did some things, whether that was with trainers or with coaches or with the strength staff, but I don't know if there was ever a time where I was just like, yeah, sure, I'm going to play. I don't think that was ever asked of me.
And then lastly, just talk a little bit about some of your line mates up front. Anthony Watts, fellow fifth-year senior, and a couple of younger guys, you know, Lawrence Johnson, Bryce Austin, those type of guys. Anybody sort of an heir apparent to you think, in the future?
I think everybody's doing a great job right now. All the young guys are coming along and learning the playbook, and even us older guys who have been here for a while, learning a new playbook and learning new techniques from the coaches. So I wouldn't say there's a specific person that is doing so much better than everybody else. I think we're all learning day by day, and we all have to improve. I have to improve. Even George and everybody who's been here for years has to improve. So we're all just taking it one day at a time. And, you know, we like to have conversations as a group about, you know, different backgrounds and where we all come from, and a better understanding of how we see America to us, because we all have different interpretations of it, and we've all been treated differently throughout our times growing up. So it's really important for me to talk to my teammates about that kind of thing and social justice initiatives, because I think that's really important moving forward. Like I said, I want my kids to grow up in a world where we're all equal and we don't have to be judged by the color of our skin or anything like that.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Okay, that's it for today. There were only 2 requested players, and they're both gone. So we'll go ahead, and tomorrow's should end around the normal time, 5:45 to 6-ish, somewhere in there. Same with Wednesday. I believe Thursday is going to be a shorter practice as well, but I will be in communication with you all to let you know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.